Hello, everybody. Today we have another visual pattern challenge. In this challenge, you've got a pattern. Here's step one of the pattern. Here's step two. Here's step three. And your job is to figure out how it changes from step to step so that you can predict what's in the next step, what's in step four. And then at a higher level of difficulty, how many stars would be in step 43? And can you write an equation that would predict the number of stars in any step at all? So if you'd like to accept that challenge, pause the video, work it out, and then see how you do. Okay, this pattern, let's see what's going on here. I start out with 3 stars, and then, okay, so here's my 3 from the first step, and it looks like I'm adding 1 here and 1 here. Now let's see, this would be the pattern from step 2, and again, I've added 1 on either end. So it looks like I'm adding 2 stars to each part of the L, on each step. So that should be a pretty straightforward pattern, I think. Let's put it in a chart so we can look at the numbers a little more clearly. So we've got the step number and we've got the stars. In step 1 there are 3 stars. In step 2 there are 5 stars. And in step 3 there are 7. And the thing you want to do when you've got your numbers listed out in a chart is just find the difference. So 5 minus 3 is 2, 7 minus 5 is 2. And this reaffirms what we saw with our eyes, that we're adding to every step. When that number that you add, that difference between the steps, is constant, stays the same from step to step, you know this is a linear pattern. And that's going to be pretty easy for us. Previously, we saw one where the difference between the steps were not the same on that first difference, and we had to take a second difference and found out that it was a quadratic, and is something that contains an x squared term. But in this case, it's a linear pattern, so we can use this equation for a line, y equals mx plus b. This change from step to step, this rate of change, is going to go in where the slope goes in for the line, and then we'll just figure out what the extra something that we have to add is after we've done that part. But before we jump into the equation, I think you can probably predict step 4 pretty easily. So this is just going up by 2 every turn. So 7 and 2 would be 9. So step 4 should have 9 stars. And that makes sense. We can see that here. Put a star on either end. You've got 9. All right. Let's work on this equation then so we can use that to get what's in step 43. So I said the difference here is what is going to go in the spot where you'd put slope in a line. So that would give us y equals 2 times x. And here x is the step number and y is the number of stars that you get. So what we have to add here, we can just figure out by looking at a step or two. So if I had y equals 2x, well, x would be the step number. So I'm trying to get 3 stars. The step number is 1. So far that says 3 equals 2 times 1. To get to 3, I would just need to add 1 more. So 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So that works out. So it looks like it's plus 1. That's going to be our b part. But let's try this now. So we've got y equals 2x plus 1. Does that work for step 2? Can we verify that this works? So step 2 has 5 stars, and it's step number 2. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1. Yeah, that is 5. So that seems to be working just fine. Let's go ahead and write that equation down there. Y equals 2x plus 1. And now, to figure out how many stars there are in step 43, we can just use this equation with step 43 as the step number. So y equals 2 times 43 plus 1. 2 times 43 is 86 plus 1 equals 87. So there should be 87 stars in step 43. If you don't believe me, draw it out. Do that 43 times and see if you get to 87. Well, how did you do? Did you come up with these numbers? Let me know. Thank you, everybody.